Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Lloydcomp is going to see some changes in the near future after receiving just over $26 million in the funding from the Saskatchewan provincial government. Eric Bay has more on how the funding will be used.
A process that began 4 years ago, LPSD finally received the good news this week, getting funding that will allow the division to expand the Lloydcomp building.
A second level addition. Right now our gymnasium spaces are actually overutilized, and we can't squeeze enough into it right now, and so I think there's going to be some plans to perhaps include an additional field house for some extracurricular. And then just the sheer instructional spaces, it'll allow us some autonomy to create some new and unique instructional spaces.
The changes at Lloydcomp will also be felt across the division, with the grade 9s moved to the high school to use the additional space.
The long-term vision is to have our grade 9s part of the student base at Lloydminster Comprehensive High School. There's a lot of research that supports that having kids engage in the high school context in grade 9 is good for achievement and overall engagement. And so our schools will all be reconfigured across Lloyd Public. Our elementaries will become K to 5s, our middle years will become 6 to 8s, and LCHS will become a 9 to 12, which will allow us then to address those pressure areas I spoke of earlier.
Easing the transition to high school, LPSD sees many benefits to having the grade 9 classes interacting with older students.
And we do a number of different things with our middle school students in our registration process to get them over to LCHS, and while we're still going to do that with our grade 8 students, even though we become a grade 9 to 12, there are some, again, the academic benefits of it, the extracurricular benefits to it, the seamless transition of kids in Saskatchewan high school athletics, which starts in a grade 9 context.
No timeline has been set for the additions to the school. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
The Veterans Gallery in Lashburn were the recipients of a donation from the Canadian Legion of Riders Battleford chapter. $1,000 was presented to the Veterans Gallery Thursday evening, which will go towards fixing the lighting inside and to fix the signage outside. The donations from the Canadian Legion of Riders is a very special one for the Veterans Gallery.
Well, this is very cool to have an organization take such an interest in our Veterans Gallery. We're very proud of this building, and they obviously understand how important it is. And it's a real thrill to have them come through, and it's an honor to receive a donation from them.
A motorcycle raffle was the event the Legion of Riders put on to raise the money. The group donated to many military-based organizations in the past, but this time they had someone within their group that brought the attention of the Lashburn Gallery.
He got in touch with these people. He heard about the military background of the museum, and that's kind of what we support. It was a good time, a good chance to get some money out in a different community.
The gallery is allowed to open on June 29th as part of Phase 4.2, but has chosen to wait an extra week before opening to the public. The Connect Club of Lloydminster is holding a unique fundraiser to support their work in the community. Jace Mackey has more.
I'm joined today with Wendy Sidoric, and we're going to be talking about the Pick Your Poison Survivor that's going to be taking place starting soon. So first of all, Wendy, I kind of just wanted to talk about how it's going to work and how people can sign up.
All right, so the easiest thing to do is go to our Facebook page, Pick Your Poison Survivor. If you can't find that, you can look up Connect Club of Lloydminster. We should have some links on there to get to the page. All you do is get your team of 6 together and have a chance to win gift cards from Chilled Distilled Liquor.
So people sign up and they get a group of 6 people, and each person has to bring how much money? Has to contribute how much money?
So each person is $30, so half goes towards the Connect Club of Lloydminster so we can continue giving back to our community, and the other half goes towards the gift cards. So we don't know a final total until we have all of our teams in. As well, the same person can be on the same team twice. The one team can be made up of one person, however you want to work it.
There's a lot of ways people can do it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the money is going to go to support the Connect Club. Can you just tell people a little bit about what kind of stuff your organization is doing to help the community of Lloydminster?
For sure. So lately we've been kind of, hands tied just like everyone else, but we have given back to the Olive Tree and Salvation Army. Normally we also work with the youth center, the interval home. We're always looking at ways to give back to our community. So those are a few of the places that we always donate to, Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And then a lot of our work is also service projects, working with Dr. Cook planting flowers and things like that.
I know that you, as an organization, have done a Pick Your Poison Survivor type thing fundraiser before. Is this one going to be different in any way?
It'll be almost exactly the same, except we won't be doing our draws at Chilled and Distilled because of social distancing requirements. So luckily, the exhibition grounds letting us use a little corner of their area so that we can do our live draws there.
That's perfect. That's awesome. And can you just go through how people are able to register?
All right. So if you go to our Facebook page, we have a Google registration on there. Then they send in your e-transfer to our Connect Club. Once your name's in there, then how it works is we'll start the draws. I think our deadline is July 6th at midnight. So we start our draws July 8th and then 10th, 13th, and I believe the last one is on the 15th of July. So what we do is pull out a name, or we pull out probably, 20, 30 names each time. As long as your team, as one person from your team is still in the draw, then you still have a chance to win. So.
And when's the deadline for people to register?
July 6th at midnight.
Perfect. And can you just talk a little bit about how has the registration gone so far?
We have a few in so far. I know it always takes everybody a little while to get their people together. But yeah, the more people we have, the bigger the pot. So we're hoping to have a really good turnout this year with not a lot of other fundraisers and not a lot of other things going on right now.
Well, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today. I know this is a very a fundraiser that you're able to do and accommodate for social distancing. So I'm glad that it's been able to go on, and I wish you the best of luck. So for people who are looking for more information about the Connect Club in general, or just this fundraiser, how are people able to get that information?
Yeah, check out our Facebook page is easiest. We also are on Instagram, Twitter as well. So you can just look up the Connect Club of Lloydminster and we'll be able to help you out with whatever you need.
Perfect. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Great, thank you.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
With summertime being the season for blockbuster movies, our Connor Chan and Abby St. John take a look back at some of the biggest hits from the past years.
Well, I'm joined once again with Abby St. John for our weekly entertainment panel. Abby, it's summertime, and of course, blockbusters are a big time for this, a big part of the summer. And of course, this year it's a little bit different because COVID and movies got pushed back. So let's take a look back at some of the biggest blockbusters from the past couple of years.
Yeah, I wrote down a few from back up into 2016. So I'll just start with last year, considering this year, like you said, we don't really have summer blockbusters this year, unfortunately, but definitely last year, some of the big ones where it was Avengers Endgame. It happened early on in the summer, so May-ish, but I'm still going to count that because it was such exciting, anticipated movie that millions of people saw and were excited to see. Another one was the live-action Aladdin movie, which was amazing, and I think they really did it justice. Spider-Man Far From Home, a great sequel to Homecoming, which I also enjoyed. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was also a very great movie, and Brad Pitt obviously ended up winning Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. So those were some of my movies from 2019. And then 2018, Avengers Infinity War, which was also a huge hit for Avengers and Marvel fans. Deadpool 2, which was an amazing movie, super funny, and lived up to the first one, which was very good, because it was also very little nervous because I didn't want to be disappointed by it, as I thought a lot of fans were in the same boat, but it definitely didn't disappoint, which was great to see. And then The Incredibles 2, which I'd been waiting since I was a kid to see the second one, and it happened to fall right on my 19th birthday, so I went to go see that in the theaters. And then back in 2017, Baby Driver, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And then 2016, Suicide Squad, Now You See Me 2. Bad Moms, which is hilarious for any women or daughters and mothers who want to see this movie together. It is fantastic. Captain America Civil War, which is a great Marvel movie, and then Finding Dory, of course, because Finding Nemo was such a big part of my childhood especially, so that was a great one.
Now, of course, 2015, you mentioned up until 2016. I want to kind of go back into a little bit further, 2015, as I was kind of looking up some of the movies. You know, it wasn't a huge year for 2015 because, you know, the biggest one that came to my mind, you know, Jurassic World, the first one, and then Ant-Man as well. You know, and then there were some other kind of comedies like Trainwreck, and then Magic Mike XXL was one of those ones. Would you consider that maybe that year kind of a little bit slower because obviously in previous years there have been, you know, summers with probably like 3 or 4 plus movies that make over the like close to the $1 billion range. So would you maybe agree that 2015 may not have been a strong year for that movie?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I didn't see a lot of the ones that you mentioned. I saw Trainwreck, which was a train wreck. In my opinion, it was not good. So yeah, I think 2015 was kind of slower, and then 2016 really picked things up because you had so many great movies to choose from of different genres. And then as the years went on, you just got more and more, they just got better, and there was something for everyone in those the past couple of years. So yeah, I would definitely agree that 2015 was a bit of a slower summer for those blockbusters.
Now, as we kind of look ahead to the coming months, of course, a lot of those summer ones I mentioned, you know, they're going to be pushed to fall. So it's kind of unusual to see fall and possibly even into winter and even early next year to have these big movies. You know, Black Widow's expected to come out, Mulan, the James Bond one, and Wonder Woman now being pushed back again. You know, this is going to be a big year for the fall this coming year. Now, especially since across country theaters are going to be open. And of course, it was just announced here in Lloydminster that July 3rd is the opening day here for May Cinema 6. So it's going to be a pretty big, exciting fall for every moviegoer in the country.
I think it's going to be jam-packed because, like you said, all of these anticipated summer blockbusters are now being pushed to the fall. So instead of having those movies kind of spread out where you can pick and choose a couple, it's going to really be hard to choose just a couple to go see when you want to see all of them. So it's definitely going to be a jam-packed fall/winter. And even moving on into 2021, a lot of those movies were pushed to the next year. So over this fall, winter, and then into 2021, we're going to see a lot of blockbuster movies and movies that we were supposed to see this summer. So it's going to be fun to get out and go, but it's definitely going to be a challenge to pick and choose which ones that you want to spend money to see.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure like you and I were pretty excited to see a lot of the ones that got pushed back. You know, I hate playing the waiting game, but it's going to pay off eventually. Abby, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Now it's time for this week's edition of What's Open. Here's Heather Clagus.
It's been a busy week across the city of Lloydminster as ball diamonds and soccer fields have reopened, and I've already seen some families out playing baseball, and you're going to see more and more people playing baseball throughout the summer months. And if you need to gear up to be ready to play, Factory Sports Excellence is open in downtown Lloydminster. They've got everything you need for baseball, fast pitch, slow pitch, all the ball accessories, and they are open Monday to Friday 10 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 4903 49th Avenue in downtown Lloydminster, so you'll look sharp on the ball diamond this season. Thanks to the City of Lloydminster, you've got the opportunity to celebrate Canada Day all week long next week. They put together a really cool activity book that you can print off. You can try out the bannock recipe, you can do the word search, there's a coloring page, and a whole lot more. Plus, get a map from the city's website and you can do a tour of the houses that are decorated to celebrate Canada Day here in the City of Lloydminster. There is a citywide scavenger hunt as well that you can complete throughout the week next week for a chance to win some really cool prizes. And make sure you're watching the City of Lloydminster on Facebook on Canada Day. The Ernestine Hatpin Show will do a virtual performance, and there's going to be a whole lot more fun and a chance for you to win some great prizes. You'll find more details on the city's website, lloydminster.ca/Canada Day. And virtual Pride Week celebrations here in Lloydminster will wrap up tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, there is the Pride Walk at Bud Miller Park. Just make sure you maintain that physical distance if you're headed out to that. And then tomorrow evening, they've got an outdoor movie night to wrap up the week. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Open is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
On Monday, June 22nd, the MLB and MLBPA announced their plans for the 2020 season. Our Eric Bay joined myself in breaking down the future of baseball. Earlier this week, the MLB finally announced its plan for the season, for the 2020 season. Joining me today to discuss this is Eric Bay. Eric, thanks for taking this time.
Hey, always happy to talk sports, especially when there's some good news here on the horizon.
Now, Eric, in something that we thought possibly could not happen this year, which is the MLB season, they finally agreed that they would be starting it on July 23rd or 24th, with spring training starting on July 1st. What are your thoughts of everything taking place right now?
Well, I'm hopeful. Obviously, as you mentioned, we weren't really sure if this was going to happen. Obviously, Commissioner Rob Manfred went from 100% certainty that there would be a season this year to, maybe not possible. So again, it's great to see this happen. And obviously the path that we got here to wasn't exactly great and smooth. Obviously still pretty contentious between the players and the owners. But again, I'm hopeful. It's all just going to depend here, as we've seen a ton of COVID cases across sports, and even in some of those states, especially Florida, where even basketball is planning on playing. They just set a huge record here today, I believe. So again, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this all shakes out, because a month is still quite a long ways away, but I am hopeful, and it will be great to see baseball players back on the field at the end of July.
Now, Eric, when people have talked about different major sports and different championships, a lot of the time an asterisk has been brought up, and if it should be added to that season. What are your thoughts on an asterisk being added to the champions of this MLB season?
I don't think it's warranted. Obviously, it's very strange times we're living in. We're only going to see a 60-game season, so roughly a third of the regular MLB season. But hey, I mean, every single MLB team is on the same footing. They're all going to be playing 60 games, most of them against their own division. So I think really whoever is the best is still going to be the best of this season, no matter if it is a shortened season or not. So it is still just like any other season, in the sense that the best team is going to win. And obviously, too, when you are playing so many games, I believe it is 40 against their own division, that's 2/3 of the season right there. So you do have to be the best team in your own division to actually make the playoffs, because the playoffs will not be expanded. So really, again, it's going to be who's the best in this shortened season. But I do think, again, the cream will still rise to the top, and it will be a fantastic finish.
For myself, this season, it's close. It might have an asterisk in the sense that teams aren't really getting the same sample size during a regular season. They're not getting to play, the Dodgers aren't getting to play the Blue Jays per se. So you're not getting that full, season that you normally would be getting in the same competition. At the same time, though, baseball playoffs are a little different than most major sports, in the sense that if you win your division, you make the playoffs. So within just playing inside of your division, or at least mainly within your own division, I do see where you're coming from on that point of view, and saying, if you're good enough to win your division, there should be no asterisks. So this is something that I guess we'll have to follow and have to look at. One thing announced about the regular season, 60 games, as we mentioned before. 40 of them will be played within the division, and 20 of those games will be played against the geographical equivalent of the division. So the AL East, with the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, would play against the NL East for their remaining 20 games. What are your thoughts on this system of how they divvied up games?
Obviously, it is a little strange, because you mentioned a little bit earlier where the Dodgers won't be playing the Blue Jays. That probably wasn't even likely to happen in years past, too, just with how interleague play works. It is very minimal. So it is interesting where we're going to see a third of the season made up with interleague play. But I think, again, obviously there's some extenuating circumstances this year compared to years past. So I really do think, again, when you are looking at this, it is the best and safest option to kind of minimize that travel, so you do have guys kind of staying in that same area of the United States for travel instead of going, cross country and having those Red Sox play, say the Los Angeles Angels or vice versa. So again, I do think it's very smart, and it won't be a typical season by any means, but I do think it is kind of the best thing to look for going forward here.
And then finally, Eric, we have the possibility of seeing somebody hit 400 for the first time in who knows how long. Are you excited for that possibility?
See, this is where I put an asterisk in the record book, because we obviously know that Ted Williams is the last guy to hit 400, and that was, 70 years ago or so. So, again, that's over 162 games, and we have seen guys get very hot for, even a 2-month stretch, but baseball's pretty hard. So I guess it would be kind of exciting to see, but that's where I'd put the asterisk in there, because, again, 2 months compared to, 6 months of an entire season, not the same thing, especially when you are facing those guys day in, day out. So for me, that one wouldn't feel the same, but it would be pretty cool to see what some of these totals can get up to, and even to see how many home runs guys can hit in a 60-game stretch when they don't have to, kind of level it out there and make sure they have enough in the tank for a late September run over that entire season. So it will be interesting for sure here to watch.
Eric, thanks for taking this time. We always appreciate you coming on and talking sports.
Hey, always great to talk sports. Thanks for having me.
Taking a look at the weather now. Saturday and Sunday are not going to be quite what we had throughout this entire week. As you see there, Saturday, a little mix of rain, some sun and clouds there, sitting at a high of 16, 19 on Sunday, but it starts to pick up again that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday stretch there, as we see 19, 20, and 21 for all the highs. And then unfortunately for Canada Day, the 22 there with raining might wreck some people's plans. Continuing Thursday as well with the rain. Still those warm temperatures though, and then heading into the Friday, we will see 22 with a low of 11 degrees. So nice coming back into the weekend.